You're listening to Eat, Play, Sex with Dr. Cat, the place to up-level that sexy life of yours, with expert talk on sex, love, and nutrition.
Was there a moment in your relationship for the two of you that you dropped in and you were like, oh, I can finally fully be myself here, or I can be truly me here?
A moment?
Yeah, or moments where
I
you...
can't think of a moment. Let me try to think about this. You go ahead, Kelly. You're better at this stuff than I am.
Well, I feel
you probably actually know more about me in this scenario than I know about myself.
Yeah.
Which is why we're married.
I think that when our puppy died, he was in an accident. I think when he died, that was Connor's permission slip. And there's Connor pre-Remy passing away and there's Connor post. He became a very different person, but I think he just became more of himself. He softened so much. There's like, Connor always jokes like, I'm the asshole, I'm the douchebag. And there's definitely that, part of him. And that's kind of how he goes about like being funny and all of those things and relating. But at the same point, that's really just kind of a facade. It's like a protection mechanism. And I think when Remy died, you got to see many more layers and facets of who Connor was, because he didn't have the energy or the space to hide anymore, because it was just constant crying and on the floor, like, how am I going to get up today? It was like a really, really dark time for us. And I think that that's when the walls came down and he became more of himself. And he was always fun and, silly and all of that. But I think since then he's become just more playful and more relaxed and doesn't have to put on a show as much. So I don't know. Does that resonate with you?
No, that situation fucked me up so bad, in a good way, probably, but not. I wouldn't do it again.
No, right, right.
No, but I remember when we got the news that had happened, and he was 10 months old, and we were like, me and him were like, we had this really close relationship. We were like best friends. And I remember before I started crying, which didn't stop for days. I just remember thinking, and I never had this experience where I was kind of outside of myself in this like really objective space. And I was like, this moment is going to change my life forever. I've had that happen a couple of times, but it was just like, I could feel all the like hurt inside of me, like about to just like come out. And it was just such an interesting and unique, I'd never felt like that. And I've lost people in my life before, but never, it just wasn't, it gave me so much empathy for people who like lose kids or something like that. I couldn't even, this is just my puppy, like it was, we were super close and he was my little homie, but I couldn't imagine in a different situation. So there was a level of empathy that I understood for just like suffering that changed me quite a bit. And I think that does a lot of people get that same experience. People that do things like survive cancer and stuff like that. You just see it. It's just like, it opens up this like panel into a more empathetic way of being, I think, through deep sorrow, which changed me a lot. I would say it changed me more than any psychedelic experience. And I've had numerous that have changed my life and changed the complete trajectory of my life, but I think that changed who I was for sure. And I was so just exhausted that there wasn't a whole lot of space in me for putting on a show for a while.
Yeah, because it takes too much. It takes a lot of energy to exude and put out something that isn't authentic and naturally flowing in us. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know what my answer is. What would your answer be from me?
I think it was when you got, as much as we keep talking about it, I think a lot of it had to do when you got comfortable with being with women and when you were with Roxanne. I forgot to remember what her fake name was, by yourself for a few times. Like you had that, that changed you a lot. And a lot of your like growth came from sexuality. I would say more so than mine.
Yeah.
So that was a lot more of your pathway. It seemed like as I look at it, over that few months, where of course and there was a lot of changing going on, which you being a fan of control, like did make you quite anxious and like threw things off. But then through that was all kind of part of the process.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think, so we dated this girl for about 6 months, and I think that was the catalyst for so many things for me in being more of myself and feeling like I didn't have to hide anymore or feel like, oh, that's not allowed. You can't have those feelings or desires. And also processing a lot of my need to control and my anxiety and my fear, which the same feelings I had when we were dating her, the ones that are coming up now, which has been really interesting. It's like mirroring the same physical feelings I was having. And it's all my fear is Am I going to be rejected? Is this okay? Am I doing something wrong? Am I too free? I don't feel like I'm in control. Those are all the things that come up for me. And that was the first time I feel like I was really able to explore that and to have the duality of, wow, I've never felt more like myself, and wow, I've never been more scared.
Well, and I think it also challenged your paradigm on feelings and relationship, because you had feelings for two people at one time.
Yeah. And it fucked me the
And
fuck up.
it didn't, and it actually made our relationship better.
It did.
Which I think is then that like puts a lot of your conditioning on relationships like on its head.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Well, and I think too, sorry, we just keep talking, but
It's great.
It is you're a therapist, so you're just our therapist for the hour. I think what I am learning still, and I just said this to Connor right before we started recording with you, is I didn't trust him back then. Even what was that, just a year ago? I didn't trust him. I didn't know that I could trust him. I've never been in this experience before. So I was starting from scratch. I'm like, oh, this guy's telling me that it's okay that I'm with this girl and that we're all together and there's all these things and that he's not going to leave me. And I was still so in my abandonment wounding back then that I couldn't see clearly. And I just thought he's trying to fuck this up, or he's trying to have sex with someone without me and all these things. And now I trust him. And we're talking about these different scenarios that I never would have been okay with before. And I realize he's not going to do anything to jeopardize our relationship. And if something comes up where he's like, hey, we need to talk, I'm having feelings for this person or something's going on, I know that we've created the foundation to have that conversation. But I feel that so much of this is my ability to trust him, and then also trust myself, trust him to be free and have his space, and trust myself to be able to be free and have my space.
Lovers, thank you again for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, hit subscribe and head over to eatplaysex.com to connect with me and grab my sexy guides. Because my goal here is to get you to eat, play, and sex better, so you can improve your sex life, which will improve every aspect of your life. Until next time, keep it sexy.